Ark the Lad R is a masterclass in finalizing a series. You make it so shit that no one ever wants another. In a pathetic attempt to fleece the ever-dwindling fanbase of a nearly 30-year-old RPG series, the game exists solely to sell prettier versions of characters from infinitely better games through vapid gacha mechanics. Now, to be fair, if I owned the rights to a franchise that was inactive for 15 years but still had a scattered group of nebulous autists who wanted more, I'd probably go for a cheeky cash grab too. But look, if you ever download a mobile game and expect a good experience, you deserve to be fleeced. Shit like this is intentionally designed to exploit your monkey brain and make you want to pay money for things that don't exist and which serve no purpose. A lot of people see gacha and loot boxes and whatever as gambling, but that's too simplistic. It lets them off too easily. Gambling generally comes with the implication that if you're lucky, you'll receive a return on investment. You put $50 down on a hand of blackjack and, if you win, it pays out. It's very addictive. I really want to play blackjack right now. I've seen people reel in fat stacks from casinos or flipping NFTs and buying crypto at the right time, which I'd personally consider gambling. It depends on the project. The key distinction is that the luck elements are offset by the potential return. The chance of making a killing is always on the cards, at least we think it is. This behavior is almost universally seen as negative, whereas gacha games' exploitative addictive nature are handwaved and laughed about because, haha, the cute anime girls in the video game. It's not funny! You have a problem! It's kinda funny. If you buy shit in a gacha game, your money's gone with no hint of a return. It's corporate pocket lining at the expense of idiots with no impulse control. The fried dopamine receptors of a lost consumerist generation are being manipulated on the daily. But the exploited masses aren't blameless, because none of this shit would exist if people weren't paying, myself included. I'm down about 1,500 since I installed this garbage. I'm no fan of mobile games, mindless consumerism, or exploitative business practices. I think that's pretty evident, but this video isn't about my proselytizing. I just wanted to get in some cheap shots before I covered the game, so if nothing else, I hope I made you feel bad. Much like my Breath of Fire 6 video, where the game was taken down a couple months after I played it, and my Phantom Brave video, where I never even got a chance to play the text-based online sequel, I had the crippling realization that if I didn't do this video, I'd miss my shot. My fears were confirmed, and not a week after finishing End of Darkness oh wow, really? It's been that long, huh? It was revealed that the servers were going offline in June 2022, so I dropped everything to play as much of this shit as I could. I think that definitely added to the bitterness of this video, because I had to play the game. Either way, I wanted to chronicle it while it existed, and while I'm happy that fate would gift me the chance, fate can often be two-faced. Let's go over the list of sins. For starters, it's a vertically oriented mobile game. Now, I do appreciate this, because I can look like a normie while playing and not some neck-bearded hard-R gamer, but my field of vision's more of a landscape view, which makes it tough to interface with. Granted, the screen size, mixed with my sludgy goblin fingers covering parts of the viewing window at any given time, makes anything more complex than a match 3 practically unplayable in any orientation. Best case, the experience is a horrible chore, but I feel like this would be less noticeable if you gave me a similar perspective to how my eyes already see shit. I'm sure someone way smarter than me has a better take on this, but vertical things are often crammed to fit the space, where the horizon comes and goes to its own tune. Moving past the surface level, we're bombarded with tutorials that explain dense concepts such as moving and attacking. You know those horrible stagnant screens you're expected to mass absorb like some photosensitive genius? Yeah, here's 100 different concepts, please remember them all. Which is extremely rich in this game because it fucking plays itself. While the combat is similar to titles of old, it's been reworked for the social media addled ADHD generation, whose gut microbiomes are so fucked from processed food and drugs that they can't pay attention to anything for longer than 5 seconds. That said, it does raise a chicken-egg scenario. Do people want the game to be faster because their gratification requirements are at an all-time high and sitting still for short periods makes them jittery? Or did the developers make a game so boring and pointless that the only way to play it is to hit a button and let it speed through itself? What the fuck is this video? Oh, the mask's off now, boys. Can you play the game manually? Yeah, sure. It's got an option to play it at 2 times speed, which makes it far easier to digest. Should ya? Nah. Do I need to elaborate? Nah. Combat takes place on stages of varying sizes, and you rock up with 5 blokes which you get from loot box gacha shit, and hit auto fight, and you win. 99% of battles can be won by the gameplay in itself, and very infrequently might require you to play manually. If the game can beat itself, and every piece of content between the big narrative events is so throwaway that they don't even ask a person to pay attention, why include them in the game? I know the answer, but it's depressing, so if I keep it poised as a rhetorical, we can pretend it's not done in the name of greed and feed. Here's another important question. If I'm not technically playing the game, can it even be considered a game? As if everything resolving itself weren't bad enough, there are these tickets you can get from doing the throwaway filler quests which allow you to straight up skip a stage and collect the yield. Included in the yield can be more of these tickets, effectively locking you into a perpetual skip fest where you're presented with hordes of free upgrade materials to make number go up. I'm the first dude to jump on the number go up train, but not like this. I understand that using auto battle is a crutch, you don't have to use it, but why wouldn't I for a game who values its own content so little? The story's shit, you follow a guy called Holt and things happen. Ark comes back to life, as is tradition, but he's evil now, which would work way better if evil Ark wasn't just regular Ark with a mask and a black aura. There are story events, but most lead to nothing and produce very little of substance. Generally, the meat of the story, the underlying components of the world, and character interconnectivity is delivered through isolated character quests. These follow one particular fella and explore a bit of what led them to where they are. The beats in these are far better than the core narrative, but combat is always just a bland battle with the same generic enemies, where you've no party restrictions because you presumably paid for those loot boxes either in cash or time. It's incredibly jarring to see a story where Ark is battling his inner demons and building up to this mystery surrounding his resurrection, only to see him in your character select screen as a level 4 gold tier dressed like a Chinese warlord and who can be used for any mission with no restrictions. Anything even close to weight or drama between these characters we've grown to love over the years is undermined with the roll of a dice, a front for monetary lust, which means I'm entirely justified skipping 100% of the content. But the only reason I didn't skip most of this shit was because the soundtrack features reworked tracks from the first 3 titles, and these are pretty good. You know, if nothing else, we got a few decent tunes to end the series on. I mean, I certainly wasn't sticking around for the visuals. Why do all mobile JRPGs either look like Final Fantasy VI or My Sims? Despite the generic nature, there was a few small considerations to make it feel a bit more Ark-like. When the airship docks, the side shot is a reference to the first 2 titles and tickled my nostalgia bone, which briefly distracts you from the soulless nature of the rest of the product. There's a crafting system, why wouldn't there be? It's pretty generic, you get components from fodder quests and use them to craft basic gear that solely increases stats, but it's still better than the crafting in Ark 2, so it gets a pass. Arc the Lad as a series didn't deserve this, not after End of Darkness. Okay, maybe it did, but the fanbase didn't deserve this. Okay, maybe they did, but I didn't deserve this. Never getting that 1500 back. And that's it. As of this video releasing, Ark R has already been taken down, so nobody can fact check my half-assed opinions and have to take me at face value. And that is a series. What a depressing end. They say that every cloud has a silver lining, and I guess the upside here is that in death, you no longer feel pain. Rest in piss, Ark the Lad. You were a game series.